Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I made a video, and one of the reasons I haven't made any videos is because I dropped my camera about 3 months ago and I broke it, and I just didn't feel like spending money on another camera. So for some reason my wife bought me a camera for what she called Mother's Day, and that's okay with me. So I got the camera for the day before Mother's Day. Anyway, what you're looking at in my greenhouse here, and the temperatures are not that great. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, you can see it's like 50, what is that, 54 or so? 55. I actually have a heater in here with a thermostat to keep the temperatures above freezing. That nighttime they've been getting a little bit low. It's the day before Mother's Day, and you can see I have my ponds here. For those of you who haven't seen what I actually have here, this is all cabbage. I have these Rubbermaid containers, and inside the container I have my water and stuff, and this cabbage is in net pots, and I just took plastic garbage bags, cut holes in them to keep the light out. But you can see these cabbages are looking pretty nice. It's a little slow in this guy. You see there's a little bit of algae here, and the reason that's there is because the water is a little high on this. The cabbage plant looks okay, but I think they do a little bit better when there's no algae there. So what I have is the water level's a little too high. I should lower it in this one. The rest of them here are looking good. Yeah. And then this lettuce is black seeded Simpson. I was trying to get some bigger leaf lettuce and I couldn't find what I wanted. So I settled on this because I know it grows fast. You can see that's a nice lettuce leaf, but they're going to have to be cut soon. Now she must have cut that one, my wife, and probably cut some off of those too. So anyway, I'm trying to get myself set up for my Dutch buckets, and what I did was I just cleaned the inside of these 20, well I have 19, one bucket had a crack in it, so I have to get another bucket. But I cleaned all my buckets, and I cleaned all of my netting. This is the netting that goes inside the buckets. There's some over there. But what I was going to say is, a lot of guys take and they put plastic around the bucket. And to me, it may work, it may not work, I don't know. But it would be a real pain in the butt putting the plastic around there and cutting around the pipe and everything that goes on the inside of that. So I had a brainstorm where I tried painting the buckets at first, maybe 3 years ago. That didn't work. The paint peeled off because of the plastic. I guess if you've got paint that was for plastic, it might be okay, but it didn't work on the buckets. These are food grade buckets. So what I did was I went down to Lowe's and I found out that they have duct tape that's actually made for outdoors. It's UV resistant stuff. So all I did was wrap duct tape around that to try and keep the algae down, because when I cleaned these buckets the other day, man oh man, what I did was I took my wheelbarrow over there and I put Clorox and Mr. Clean in it, and I took it and put all the buckets outside and did one at a time with a brush to get them all clean, and then I washed these nets out in the wheelbarrow as well. So anyway, the buckets came out pretty nice and everything, but it's really a pain when you're trying to get that stuff out of there. The water was literally green because the inside of these buckets was totally green. Okay, and what happened was the tomato plants I had cut down early last year because I had a bad season. I wasn't getting any fruit. And I think what happened was, if you look where the glass is here, or the the plastic, I had the tomatoes all the way back here where the yellow rope is, and I think they were too far out of the sunlight. So I moved them up now, and I joined the two tables together here for these other things. I was putting an aisle between each table, and I don't think I needed that. I can get on, you know, I can reach both tables from that aisle, the table plus buckets from this aisle, and then over in here in the back I can water these buckets from this aisle. So anyway, I had taken the time to clean the buckets, and I wanted to put something on them to try and break down that algae a little bit or keep it from forming in the bucket. So I put duct tape on. And like I say, it's not just regular duct tape, it's duct tape that actually has a UV resistant coating to it. And it has an odor to the tape, so all I can say is there's something different about it than regular duct tape, and we'll see how it holds up till next year. So those of you who are familiar with hydroponic buckets, you know, you guys know you put a pipe in the hole through there, and I have all my pipes laying here. What happened was I was cleaning them up and I didn't get them together yet. So I have to cut holes through the tape and then put the fittings in for the pipe, and then I'll go ahead and I'll put these nets around here. Now the net themselves, and I'll show you the brand I've been using. I got these at Lowe's. So the brand is Blue Hawk. 5-gallon paint strainers. It's a 2-pack. I don't remember how much they are. I think they're, I don't know if they're $3 or $4 for a 2-pack. But anyway, the netting itself is good, but the elastic around the top doesn't last the season, so it doesn't stay tight around the top of the lid. So what I might do is, I have a bunch of zip ties, the pretty long ones. I think I'll just put this on there and then zip tie it so that the netting stays on the top of the bucket, and after I put the perlite in, it doesn't fall down. So anyway, what I was saying is the first 10 buckets here last year, I had cut the tomato plants out early, and then what I did was I pulled the roots out and I cleaned up. I took the buckets and dumped the perlite in the containers, and that seemed to be okay. The buckets were a little bit green but very light. But these pepper plants, they kept giving me peppers late into the season, so it got to the point where it was so cold that I really didn't have a chance to clean out the buckets. So all I did was sort of leave them sit in here, and then like a month ago, or not a month ago, a week ago, I decided to start cleaning them out. So what I did was, and every year I'm trying to make things a little bit easier for myself, my wife picked up these 2 plastic garbage cans down at Lowe's, and what I did was I took the perlite, the perlite from these buckets, and I ran it through a screen that I made. This is like it's hardware cloth, so it's like 1/4 by 1/4, maybe 3/8 by 3/8 inch screen. And it takes out any roots or anything, and you end up with pretty nice perlite again. So this perlite and this should be enough to do 10 buckets. And then the rest of what well, a little more than 10, and then the rest that I have here will do 10 buckets. The thing is that the perlite that's in these black containers I use to let the water run into here. So when I water the plants and the water goes down the pipe, I usually put the black container here to let the water run into there, and then I just scoop it out of there when I want to re-water the plants. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I have pumps or want to put pumps in here, because I don't mind coming over here and watering these plants 3-4 times a day, because I am home here all the time, so I sort of enjoy seeing them grow. But anyway, I got to get these emptied, so as soon as I get the pipe in these now, I just taped these all up this morning. As soon as I get the pipe back in there and the nets in, then I'll start scooping this perlite out of these 2 big containers and fill them up and get ready for the tomato plants and that. Because I have them in the garage in my office where there's heat, and they're growing pretty good. They're about 6 inches tall, some of them right now. Peppers are a little lagging. I got to tell you, I bought seed from Burpee, and I don't know, I don't know if they got good stuff or not, but I thought Burpee was a brand name or a good name, and seems like some of their seeds are a little lacking, because I planted all the tomato plants I planted, they came up, but I planted 32 pepper plants and only 5 plants came up so far, and it's been 4 weeks. So, you know, that's a lot of baloney. Anyway, that's where I'm at so far. Oh, and in these red cups, this year, for some reason, we had an abundant supply of acorns. And since I'm getting a sawmill, and I'm going to be cutting some red oak down that I have on my property, I figured I'd replant some trees. But anyway, we had this abundant supply of acorns, and they were unbelievable. They were actually splitting. You can see that one, and they were growing long roots out of them and trying to root themselves. So I figured I would give them a helping hand and, you know, put them in these containers. So once they start to grow a little bit, I just did this morning as well. Once they start to grow, I'm going to take them, put them in bigger pots, and then I'll either sell them as red oak trees, which is what they're going to be, or I'll transplant them on the property. I got a whole bunch of acorns up there. There must be 500 acorns up there, if not 1,000, that are on my upper property that's just laying there trying to root. They're really, you know, trying to live, so pretty neat to watch that. So anyway, that's where I'm at so far with the greenhouse. When I get a chance, I'll make another video about the seedlings that I have, because it's a kind of a crappy day today. There's no sun at all. Like I say, it's a little cool. So, alright guys, we'll have a good one. That's it for now. Bye.